truth. Bring it on.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
Do you want the whole truth? I don't think you're ready.
Governments don't control things. A government can't control the economy without controlling people.
It's Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth. Here comes truth.
Well, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. We're glad you're here, right here on the AFR Talk Network. I'm Crane Durham. Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth. Big show tonight, a really big show, in fact. And we are going to, at the bottom of the hour, Pastor Aaron Free, Afternoons with Aaron, weekly segment, benchmark here at Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth. We go from the bottom of the hour to the top of the hour with Pastor Aaron Free, Senior Pastor at Knollwood Church, Mobile, Alabama, discussing events, cultural, and, well, things that are in the news, certainly, and how they are relatable to Scripture and how, as Christians, we should respond. Tonight, we're going to be taking on a topic, really a story of a family that lost their son to suicide and their journey and God's presence during their journey as they moved on from that. And extraordinary story, bottom of the hour, suicide, teen suicide, and a family's relationship growing stronger with God. Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth. We will begin tonight with something that Charles Krauthammer said the other night, and something I've been hitting pretty strong, and it was the strong horse, weak horse analysis of what's happening in the war on terror. That specifically, President Obama is projecting weakness. Interesting. And it's inviting aggression. It's inviting aggression. And it's viewed by our enemy, Islamic jihadists, Islamofascists, as the weak horse versus the strong horse that bin Laden wrote about in 1996 as he announced, in essence, that he was at war with the West. Here is Dr. Charles Krauthammer. Roll it.
Obama has done a lot of retreating, not all of it in the face of terrorism, but he thought the Bush administration had overextended us, so he got us out of Iraq, left no presence behind. He's getting us out of Afghanistan after a surge, which he did, which he then immediately announced there would be an end of and we'd be leaving. He's closed 20-somewhat embassies because of threats in the air. He did nothing about the attacks in Libya. America's word is simply not very much respected in the world. That's the fact. And I think as a consequence, there's a lot more. Obama used to talk about Guantanamo and all the sins of the Bush administration, torture and all this stuff, as the recruiter of terrorists. The biggest recruiter of terrorists is American weakness. What bin Laden said, people will go with the strong horse and not the weak horse. And that's what's happened under his stewardship.
From our inability to identify our enemy to calling terrorist attacks workplace violence in the case of Fort Hood, we have not been projecting the strong horse. In fact, arguably, a mistake was made in 2004 when we had Gaddafi declaring his nuclear weapons program after Saddam Hussein was captured and hung. So if you want to know what moves our enemy and how to make gains in the war, it is certainly not by saying we're sorry for being who we are. Because when you do that, you really get history wrong. And President Obama has history wrong, as many do who claim that we are imperialist empire builders, who say, well, you know what, Israel's the problem, as opposed to the problem being the countries that want to destroy Israel and won't tolerate their existence, or for that matter, ours. something we really need to get straight. And if you look at it through a lens of September 11th, not with the emotion, but the reality of the enemy we are facing, it is bizarre that President Obama has been not only elected, but reelected through that lens. Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth. We move forward, and harsh, I got a lot of more. It's just nothing but truth. What happens when a congressman decides to go home and sell Obamacare after he supported Obamacare? Well, why don't we find out? Roll it.
I would say if you want a good opinion about Obamacare, go right here to Mercy Hospital and ask him how they feel about it. It's been an amazing success story so far.
Success story. Amazing success story. Yeah, absolutely and totally bizarre. And that said, we have the president of the chairman of the President's Economic Council responding to job reports and the job report last week and what we are seeing this week, which will be a similar report. Now remember, the unemployment number drops to 7.4% last week, but we have more people leaving the workforce. And if we had the same amount in 2008, it'd be 11 plus. We look at the discouraged workers and workers that have working part-time who want to work full-time, and their unemployment number is 14.3%, and now it's 14% as I see the seasonal adjustment. Bottom line, the policies are not working. Here was the president's salesman, his chief of his economic council, Alan Krueger, last week reviewing the numbers. Roll it.
Oh, I think it's clear the economy is gradually getting better, but we'd like to speed up the pace of the improvement. Over the last year, we've added 2.3 million jobs. That's heading in the right direction, but there's a lot more work to be done given how many jobs were lost during the Great Recession. But I can tell you that the president has a very robust agenda to grow the economy from the middle out. That's part of the reason why we're seeing progress, because part of his agenda has been enacted. And the president is going to keep at it. He's committed to seeing the middle class expand, to providing more ladders of opportunity into the middle class. That's why he gave a major speech in Galesburg, Illinois, and some follow-up speeches since then. And he's going to continue to lay out his plans for investing more in infrastructure, for supporting American manufacturing. And you'll see him to continue to lay out his agenda for expanding the middle class.
Now, whether you're Arkansas Congressman Mark Pryor, who made the statement that Obamacare is an amazing success, or that you're playing the game of statistics and not recognizing the greater context, you don't fool the American people. 71% say President Obama is offering nothing new in the way of economic policies. Further, we see that his approval rating has been dropping. So what do Americans want? And what is the path back to a good, strong economy that produces jobs? But even more important than that, what is an economic policy that is congruent with Scripture? A biblically based economic policy versus a economic policy based on the state. Well, our guest in his first interview in 2 years, Forbes contributor Jerry Boyer is next to answer those questions. Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth, AFR Talk.